For a television series that has spent more than 2 decades on the air, change is nothing new. Yet even by the standards of a franchise known for reinventing itself, the latest casting development surrounding NCIS feels different. For the first time in 4 years, the long-running CBS procedural appears to be embracing a distinctly new cast direction, signaling the beginning of another chapter in the show's remarkable evolution. Fans have watched NCIS navigate countless transitions over the years. From the departure of beloved veterans to the arrival of fresh faces, the series has consistently found ways to remain relevant while maintaining the identity that made it a television phenomenon. However, the most recent confirmation suggests that the creative team is looking beyond simple additions or exits. Instead, they seem focused on reshaping the ensemble itself. The announcement has sparked immediate discussion among viewers, many of whom have followed the series since its earliest seasons. While cast changes are often viewed with caution, there is also a growing sense of excitement surrounding the possibilities that come with a refreshed team dynamic. At the heart of the conversation is the recognition that NCIS has entered a new era. The show is no longer relying solely on legacy characters to drive every major storyline. Instead, producers appear committed to building a future that balances familiar faces with emerging talent. This approach reflects the changing landscape of television. Modern audiences crave character development, emotional complexity, and fresh interpersonal relationships. Long-running series can struggle to deliver those elements when every storyline revolves around established characters whose journeys have already been extensively explored. By introducing new personalities and expanding the responsibilities of newer team members, NCIS is creating opportunities for stories that feel both familiar and unpredictable. The shift is particularly significant because the show's cast remained relatively stable over the last several years. While there were occasional departures and guest appearances, the core ensemble largely maintained its structure. That consistency helped the series weather industry changes and audience shifts, but it also meant that major creative risks were relatively rare. Now, the willingness to embrace a different direction suggests growing confidence from both the network and the production team. For viewers, one of the most intriguing aspects of this transition is how it may affect character relationships. Some of the most memorable moments in NCIS history have come not from investigations, but from the interactions between agents, forensic experts, and support staff. Whether it was playful banter in the bullpen, emotional conversations after difficult cases, or mentorship between senior and junior team members, those relationships formed the backbone of the show. A refreshed ensemble naturally creates new opportunities for chemistry. New partnerships can challenge existing characters in unexpected ways. Fresh perspectives can lead to conflicts that reveal hidden dimensions of familiar personalities. At the same time, younger agents often bring a different energy that can reinvigorate a veteran cast. The result is a storytelling environment where almost anything feels possible. Industry observers have noted that many successful procedural dramas eventually reach a crossroads. They can either continue relying on nostalgia or actively invest in the future. The most successful franchises typically find a balance between the two approaches. That appears to be exactly what NCIS is attempting. Rather than replacing its history, the series seems determined to build upon it. Veteran characters remain important, but they are increasingly sharing the spotlight with individuals who represent the next generation of the team. This strategy carries obvious advantages. Longtime fans still have the characters they know and love. Meanwhile, newer viewers gain entry points through fresh faces whose stories are only beginning. In an era where audience retention is more challenging than ever, that balance can be incredibly valuable. The creative possibilities are equally compelling. New characters arrive without years of established backstory, allowing writers to take risks and surprise audiences. Their motivations, strengths, weaknesses, and personal histories can be revealed gradually, creating mysteries that extend beyond weekly investigations. For a procedural series, that kind of character-driven storytelling can be a powerful tool. There is also the question of leadership within the team. Throughout its history, NCIS has explored different leadership styles, each bringing unique strengths and challenges. A changing cast structure inevitably influences those dynamics, creating opportunities to examine how authority, mentorship, and teamwork evolve over time. The show's writers have often excelled at using workplace relationships as a foundation for larger emotional arcs. A refreshed ensemble gives them even more material to explore. Another factor contributing to fan interest is the franchise's broader expansion. With multiple interconnected series and an ever-growing universe, NCIS has become much more than a single television show. That larger ecosystem allows characters to move between projects, appear in crossover events, and contribute to stories that extend beyond one series. As a result, casting decisions carry greater significance than ever before. A new character introduced today could become a major figure within the broader franchise tomorrow. That possibility adds another layer of intrigue to the current changes. Social media reactions have reflected a mixture of optimism and curiosity. Many fans acknowledge that some of the show's most successful periods followed major cast transitions. While departures initially generated concern, they often paved the way for compelling new relationships and memorable storylines. The same could happen again. Of course, any major shift comes with challenges. Audience attachment to established characters remains one of NCIS's greatest strengths. Producers must ensure that new additions complement rather than overshadow the personalities that helped build the franchise. Achieving that balance requires careful casting, thoughtful writing, and patience. Fortunately, NCIS has extensive experience navigating exactly those situations. Over the years, the series has repeatedly demonstrated an ability to adapt while preserving its core identity. That adaptability has been one of the key reasons for its extraordinary longevity. The latest cast direction appears to be another example of that philosophy in action. Instead of resisting change, the show is embracing it. Instead of viewing new faces as replacements, it is presenting them as opportunities. And instead of relying exclusively on the past, it is investing in the future. For a series entering yet another chapter of its historic run, that may be the most encouraging sign of all. As production moves forward and more details emerge, fans will undoubtedly continue debating what these changes mean. Some will remain cautious. Others will eagerly anticipate the fresh storylines and character dynamics that could result. What seems clear, however, is that NCIS is entering a period of transformation unlike anything it has attempted in recent years. The franchise has spent decades proving that evolution is essential to survival. Now, with a newly confirmed cast direction and a willingness to embrace fresh possibilities, NCIS is once again preparing to redefine itself. And if history is any indication, viewers should expect the next chapter to be every bit as fascinating as the ones that came before. The significance of this new direction becomes even clearer when examining how NCIS has traditionally handled change. Unlike many television dramas that completely reinvent themselves after major cast departures, NCIS has always preferred gradual evolution. Characters are introduced carefully, relationships are allowed to develop naturally, and audiences are given time to form emotional connections before major shifts occur. That patient approach has helped the series avoid the abrupt disruptions that often damage long-running shows. Yet the current situation feels more ambitious than previous transitions. Instead of simply filling vacancies, the production appears to be redefining how the team functions as a whole. One of the biggest questions surrounding the cast evolution involves the balance between experience and youth. The veteran agents have spent years building trust, developing investigative instincts, and surviving some of the most dangerous cases imaginable. Their expertise remains invaluable. At the same time, newer characters bring enthusiasm, unconventional thinking, and perspectives shaped by a different generation. Those contrasts can create some of the most engaging drama. Imagine a seasoned investigator relying on decades of field experience while a younger teammate approaches the same problem through technology and modern intelligence methods. Neither approach is necessarily wrong, but the tension between them can lead to compelling storytelling. That kind of dynamic has always been part of the NCIS formula, but the upcoming cast structure suggests it could become a more prominent focus moving forward. Another intriguing possibility is the expansion of personal storylines. In earlier years, NCIS often concentrated heavily on weekly cases, with character development woven into the background. More recently, however, audiences have shown a strong appetite for serialized storytelling. Viewers want to know what happens when the investigation ends. They want to understand the personal sacrifices agents make, the challenges they face outside the office, and the relationships that shape their decisions. A refreshed cast offers countless opportunities to explore those themes. New team members arrive carrying histories that viewers have yet to discover. Their families, ambitions, fears, and secrets can gradually emerge over multiple seasons, creating emotional investment that extends far beyond solving crimes. This approach also helps keep a long-running procedural feeling fresh. When every character possesses unresolved personal questions, audiences have reasons to return each week even when individual investigations conclude. The mystery becomes larger than the case itself. For the writers, that flexibility is invaluable. It allows them to blend traditional procedural storytelling with deeper character-driven narratives, satisfying both longtime fans and newer viewers seeking serialized drama. The franchise's recent success demonstrates that audiences remain eager for that combination. Meanwhile, the cast members themselves are likely to play an important role in shaping this new era. Every successful ensemble develops its own unique chemistry. Some partnerships become comedic highlights. Others evolve into emotional anchors for the series. Those relationships cannot be manufactured overnight. They develop through shared scenes, collaborative performances, and countless hours spent building believable connections on screen. As fresh faces integrate into the team, viewers will be watching closely to see which relationships emerge as the defining partnerships of the next chapter. History suggests there will be surprises. Many of the most beloved friendships in NCIS were not necessarily obvious from the beginning. Some characters who initially seemed incompatible eventually became fan favorites thanks to their contrasting personalities and unexpected loyalty to one another. The same process could unfold again. Beyond the storytelling implications, the casting shift also reflects broader realities within the entertainment industry. Television audiences today have more viewing options than ever before. Streaming platforms, international productions, and digital content compete for attention around the clock. In that environment, maintaining relevance requires constant adaptation. A show cannot survive solely on reputation. It must continue generating excitement. Fresh casting decisions are among the most effective ways to accomplish that goal. New characters generate headlines, inspire speculation, and encourage viewers to tune in to see how the changes affect the overall series. For NCIS, which has already achieved extraordinary longevity, that renewed energy is particularly important. The franchise has spent years proving it can withstand departures that once seemed unimaginable. When major stars left, many predicted the show's decline. Yet time and again, the series found ways to reinvent itself while preserving the elements audiences loved most. Those experiences have likely given producers confidence in pursuing another significant evolution. Rather than fearing change, they understand how to use it as a creative advantage. The audience's response will ultimately determine the success of the strategy, but early indications suggest curiosity is running high. Fans across online communities are already discussing potential storylines, predicting character developments, and debating how the new cast direction could influence future seasons. That level of engagement is exactly what every television series hopes to achieve. It signals investment. It signals anticipation. Most importantly, it signals that viewers still care deeply about where the story goes next. As the transition unfolds, expectations will continue to grow. Every introduction, every character interaction, and every major storyline will be examined for clues about the future of the franchise. Will new agents emerge as central figures? Will existing characters take on expanded leadership roles? Will unexpected partnerships redefine the team dynamic? The answers remain unknown, but that uncertainty is part of the excitement. For the first time in 4 years, NCIS is clearly signaling that another major evolution is underway. The series is not standing still. It is not content to repeat the same formulas indefinitely. Instead, it is taking a calculated step forward. That willingness to evolve has been one of the defining characteristics of NCIS since the beginning. Every era of the show has introduced new challenges, new personalities, and new opportunities for growth. Now, another era appears ready to begin. And if the franchise's history serves as any guide, the next generation of stories may end up becoming just as memorable as the chapters that made NCIS a television institution in the first place. As anticipation continues to build, attention is increasingly turning toward what this new cast direction could mean for the identity of NCIS itself. Every long-running television series eventually faces a fundamental question: how do you honor the past while continuing to move forward? For NCIS, the answer has never been simple. The series was built on a foundation of memorable personalities, strong team dynamics, and a unique blend of procedural storytelling and character-driven drama. Over the years, audiences became attached not only to the investigations, but also to the people conducting them. Viewers celebrated promotions, mourned departures, and watched friendships evolve across hundreds of episodes. That emotional investment is one of the show's greatest strengths. Yet it can also make change particularly challenging. When beloved characters leave or new faces arrive, comparisons are inevitable. Fans naturally measure newcomers against the legends who came before them. It is a difficult standard to meet, especially in a franchise with such a rich history. However, the producers appear to understand that the goal is not replacement. The goal is progression. Rather than attempting to recreate past dynamics, the current strategy seems focused on establishing entirely new relationships capable of standing on their own merits. That distinction could prove crucial in determining how audiences respond. Successful television ensembles are rarely built around imitation. They succeed because they create something unique. The most memorable eras of NCIS were not copies of previous seasons. Each chapter developed its own personality, tone, and interpersonal chemistry. The emerging cast structure has the opportunity to do exactly the same. One area where this shift may become particularly visible is in leadership development. Throughout the history of the series, leadership has played a central role in shaping team culture. Strong leaders influence everything from investigative strategy to workplace morale. They set expectations, resolve conflicts, and serve as mentors during moments of crisis. As newer characters gain experience, opportunities arise to explore how different individuals approach those responsibilities. Some leaders rely on discipline and structure. Others emphasize collaboration and trust. Still others lead through example, earning respect through action rather than authority. Those contrasting styles can create fascinating dramatic situations. A team undergoing change often discovers unexpected strengths and weaknesses. Characters who previously operated in supporting roles may suddenly find themselves making critical decisions. Others may struggle with increased responsibility or question whether they are ready for new challenges. Those internal conflicts can be just as compelling as any criminal investigation. In fact, some of the show's most memorable moments have come when characters were forced to confront personal uncertainty. A changing cast naturally increases the likelihood of those situations. At the same time, fresh additions can help broaden the scope of storytelling. Every new character arrives with a unique perspective shaped by different experiences, backgrounds, and ambitions. Those differences enrich the narrative. A new investigator may approach evidence differently. A new analyst might challenge long-established procedures. A new field agent could introduce skills that alter how the team handles operations. The resulting interactions create opportunities for growth on all sides. Veteran characters are pushed to adapt. Newcomers are forced to prove themselves. The audience benefits from watching both processes unfold simultaneously. There is also a practical advantage to introducing fresh perspectives. After more than 2 decades on television, finding entirely new storylines becomes increasingly difficult. New characters help solve that problem. Their personal histories provide unexplored territory. Their relationships create fresh emotional stakes. Their ambitions generate conflicts and opportunities that would not otherwise exist. In many ways, they serve as engines for future storytelling. The broader NCIS franchise offers additional possibilities. With multiple interconnected series operating within the same universe, characters no longer exist in isolation. Crossovers have become an increasingly important part of franchise storytelling. New cast members could eventually appear across multiple shows, strengthening connections between different branches of the universe. That possibility makes every casting decision more significant. A character introduced today might become a major franchise figure tomorrow. Fans understand this reality, which explains why interest in the current changes extends far beyond a single season. Many viewers are already looking ahead, wondering how these developments could shape the next 5 or even 10 years of NCIS storytelling. That long-term perspective reflects the remarkable relationship between the series and its audience. Few television dramas inspire such sustained loyalty. Generations of viewers have grown up with the franchise. Some began watching as teenagers and now share the show with their own children. Others discovered it through streaming services and became invested in characters whose stories began years before they started watching. This unique audience creates both challenges and opportunities. Longtime fans value continuity and tradition. Newer viewers often seek innovation and accessibility. The emerging cast direction appears designed to satisfy both groups. Established characters provide continuity, new additions provide momentum. Together, they create a bridge between the franchise's history and its future. That balance may ultimately determine whether the current transition becomes another success story in the show's long history of reinvention. If the writers successfully integrate new personalities while preserving the emotional core that audiences love, the result could be a revitalized era capable of sustaining the series for years to come. The signs are certainly encouraging. The willingness to embrace change demonstrates confidence. The focus on ensemble development suggests long-term planning. And the excitement among fans indicates genuine curiosity about what comes next. For a franchise entering yet another chapter, those are valuable advantages. As cameras continue rolling and future episodes take shape, one thing is becoming increasingly clear. NCIS is not simply adjusting its roster, it is preparing for a transformation. The process may unfold gradually, episode by episode and season by season. New relationships will form, new leaders will emerge, new rivalries, friendships, and partnerships will develop. Over time, those elements will combine to define the next era of the franchise. And years from now, viewers may look back on this moment as the point when NCIS once again reinvented itself, proving that even after decades on television, it still possesses the ability to surprise its audience and chart an exciting new course into the future.